Back here with Robert Rowley from Maricopa County Emergency Management at the Reception and Care Center here in Wickenburg. Rob, who determines whether a resident must evacuate their homes in the event of an emergency?
Yeah, that's to determine who we need to evacuate is actually a very thought out planning process. It begins with information we get from the Palo Verde generating station. They give us what's called a protective action recommendation. They tell us based on the information that they have, what they think is happening and what we should do as a result of that. And we take a look at that information, and then Maricopa County Department of Emergency Management and the Arizona State Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, we have a meeting and we discuss that recommendation, and then based on that recommendation we come up with a decision and determine what areas within the emergency planning zone need to be evacuated.
Well, how will I be notified if I need to evacuate my home?
So notification of an evacuation, we try to hit every possible means that exists to notify people of an evacuation. That's actually for any circumstance, but also for a Palo Verde incident. And that includes the traditional emergency alert system, so radio and television. We'll go over those with that information. We have 58 sirens in the 10-mile emergency planning zone that go off in the event that there's an emergency. They're tested annually, and they're tested on a regular basis on a silent test to make sure that they're always functioning properly. Everybody in the EPZ knows when the siren goes off to check your radio and television to see what's going on and what actions you need to take. We use wireless emergency alerts. So that's what some of the people watching this may have gotten on their phones. If you've ever gotten a dust storm warning or a flash flood or a severe thunderstorm, an Amber Alert, and your phone goes off with those familiar emergency alert system tones, that's wireless emergency alerts. We can do that. We use social media, so Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor. If you use any of those, check out what Maricopa County Emergency Management's doing on there. You should follow us if you're on any of those. And then we also have our Community Emergency Notification System, or CENS, where you can register your cell phone and email address to receive emergency notifications. And you can do that at ready.maricopa.gov.
And if this was to happen, how will someone know where the Reception and Care Center is at?
So how will you know where to go, where the RCC is going to be located? That's going to be in the messaging that we send out. So that's going to go out over the emergency alert system and social media. And the wireless emergency alerts are kind of short. So if you get one of those, it'll just tell you that there's been evacuations and where to go for more information. Turn on your TV or your radio station. Check your email or your cell phone if you've registered with CENS. We'll have all that in there. And where the RCC is going to be is one of those things that's determined when we decide whether or not we're going to do evacuations.
Okay, but if something was to happen, where's my family going to sleep and eat?
So ideally, as part of your family emergency plan, you've already determined ahead of time where you can go in the event that you need to be evacuated for any circumstance. However, we understand that not everybody has a place to go. You might not have that option. And so we will set up a shelter that people can go to that are evacuated from the EPZ. And that's also determined, just like the RCC, that's determined where that's going to be based on the event.
Can I bring my pets to the Reception and Care Center?
Yeah, absolutely. So your pets have the same possibility of getting radiological contamination just like you. And so we have procedures set up here to do pet decon. They'll be run through the detectors that you see right here behind us. Those are checking for radiological contamination, and if they detect it, then you're sent in to decon. And if you have pets with you, that's the same thing that would happen.
Okay, we'll be back a little later with more from the Reception and Care Center drill.
Great, yeah, just a little clarification. I mentioned in the earlier segment when students are evacuated from schools, the actual correct term for that is a reunification center. So just a little clarification on there. And yeah, just as we've been talking, you've been seeing people, actors going through our radiation detection, simulating evacuees. So that'll continue throughout the process of the exercise.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.